Hi everyone, my name's Jordan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my March TBR. I haven't put too many books on here just to be safe. I might have a pretty busy month, so I've kind of kept it small so that I can hopefully finish all of those and then possibly more. So first I'm going to start with the books I'm currently reading. The first book I'm currently listening to is The Age of Swords by Michael Sullivan. This is the second book in the Legends of the First Empire series. I think I'm reading these out of order technically because I think most people read the other series that starts with Theft of Swords first, but this one is a prequel that's set over 1,000 years before, I believe, so I decided I would rather read it chronologically. So this is the first series I'm reading by Michael Sullivan, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's set in this world where humans have forever worshipped these godlike beings called the Frey. However, when one of the humans is able to successfully kill one of the Frey, they realize, oh wait, maybe they're not gods. And what follows is this whole story of this small community of humans trying to protect themselves and not anger the Frey. Their main goal is just to survive. And when a young mystic that has lived in the woods comes and visits this town, she helps them try to battle this large bear that is terrorizing the town, while they're also trying to contend with these Frey that have shown up. And it is this fun, super fantastical story full of magic and friendship. The relationships and the characters are incredible. So I'm currently reading the second one of that. Also this month, I would like to get to the third one called Age of War. I'm trying to get through Michael Sullivan's backlog. So yeah, currently reading Age of Swords, want to also read Age of War in March. I'm doing all of this series on audiobook. The second book I am currently reading is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I don't have the sleeve on it right now, but this book is the second book in the Crescent City series. I'm going to this one a little bit jaded. I've heard kind of mixed reviews about it, and I'm hoping that some of them don't bother me as much as they've bothered other people. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I'm about a little more than halfway through, and I feel like not a whole lot has happened. I just feel like so far, some of the plot is kind of weird. Again, I'll probably post a full review of this to get into non-spoiler and spoiler thoughts later, so look for that. So yeah, I am currently hoping to finish this in March as well. The next book on my March TBR is The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. It is the fourth book in the Wheel of Time series. I recently finished The Dragon Reborn, which was the third one, and I did not really like it. My review is up on my Instagram, and I will be talking about it in my February wrap-up, but I was not the biggest fan. So I'm kind of going into this next one a little bit hesitantly. However, I do really want to finish this series. The first one I thought was good. I really enjoyed the second one, and I've heard that they progressively get better towards the end of the series. So I'm really hoping that I can get back into enjoying it. I just thought the first one was kind of a letdown. It was pretty boring. So I'm really hoping that this next one is better again and that they will progressively get better throughout the series. For anyone that doesn't know, The Wheel of Time is a story about this land where magic is only accessible by the women in this world. Whenever men are able to access this magic, they slowly go mad and bad things happen. When a bunch of prophecies are linked to this very small town on the outskirts of this realm, 3 young men and 2 women from this town are wrapped up in this whole journey where they have to battle monsters and travel far, and all they've known is this little town. So each of these books follows them as they progressively learn more about magic, learn more about the world, learn more about all these prophecies that they've somehow become wrapped up in. And I've really enjoyed the plot. I just really thought the third book was a miss, so hoping the fourth one is better. The next book on my March TBR is The Disordered Cosmos A Journey into Dark Matter, Space-Time, and Dreams Deferred by Chanda Prescott-Weinstein. This book is an exploration of the physics of space as it relates to racial injustice and the different inequalities in the science community in general. This book, I believe, came up on Goodreads as just like a recommended read, and the cover is absolutely stunning. And so I kind of looked into it and I was like, wait, this sounds really dope. Last year I went through this whole phase of like reading a whole bunch of books about astrophysics and stuff. It really fascinates me. So I'm excited to see it brought into this context of like how racism and different inequalities fit into the science community. I know that this book is supposed to explore like how everyone should have access to the stars. Everyone should have access to this science. And so I'm very excited to get into it. I love learning about space stuff. I think space is fascinating and very hard to think about sometimes because it's just like so immense, but I'm very excited to get into this one. The next book on my list is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. This book is what I can tell, like kind of a thriller book with maybe a little bit of like magical realism. It follows this man named Travis who can tell the history of a person by just holding an artifact of theirs. So by holding a piece of clothing, he can tell where that person's been. So when people are desperate, they come to him for help with missing persons cases. And when he is assigned to this one woman's missing persons case, he finds basically like a cult out in the middle of nowhere that's been around since the 70s, and he also goes missing. And then a few years later, there's this man named Theo who finds his truck on the outside of this like compound, I believe. And so you just kind of follow all of this like cult and missing persons and all of this. I've heard some mixed reviews about it. I've heard some people say it's incredible and gripping, and I've heard some people say that it is just like weird and not good. So I'm going into it a little cautiously, but it sounds cool. It's not really a book I would normally pick up. I've just seen a lot of people talking about it. I'm interested to also read it. I have it checked out as an audiobook, so I am hoping to get to that this month as well. The next book on my March TBR is called Dying of Whiteness: How the Politics of Racial Resentment is Killing America's Heartland by Jonathan M. Metzl. This book is a nonfiction book, and it is supposed to be like an exploration of how a lot of people in America vote for candidates with very racist ideals are also hurting themselves. It follows how these laws that are intended to hold back people of color and make it harder for them to go about their lives are actually also making it harder for white people to go about their lives. The author is a physician, so I believe it gets into a lot of like medical ways that all of these laws are also hurting white people. So I think this is a very interesting kind of like concept for a book. I'm excited to get into it and kind of learn the ways in which people will act against themselves in order to keep their status, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to get into that. I've kind of read some books that touch on this subject, so I'm excited to kind of like dive deeper into that. The last book on my March TBR is The City of Dusk by Tara Sim. This is the first book in a trilogy. It is a dark fantasy series. I have this as an ARC through NetGalley. This book follows these 4 heirs of these noble houses that are trying to keep their realm from being engulfed in a war. Each of these heirs have their own divine power passed down from a god. However, these gods have withdrawn their favor for these cities, and without the support of these gods, these realms are dying. So these 4 heirs must work together to keep their whole entire realm from going under, and it just sounds really cool. I think the premise is really fun. I think the different magical powers that these different heirs are gonna have will be very fun to explore. The setting sounds cool and dark, and yeah, I'm just excited to start a cool new fantasy series. Like, I don't have enough fantasy series I'm currently reading, but I'm very excited for this one. I will have a dedicated review up for this one since I got it as an ARC, and that will be coming soon. And that is all of the books I would like to read in March. Hopefully I get to more. I have on my phone notes, I have like this running list of all the books I want to read, and it is extensive. So I just kind of go through and read the next one on the list once I finish. So if I can get through all these books, I will hopefully be continuing on that list, but I did not want to bite off more than I could chew because I do not know how busy the month of March will be. I would like to thank you all so much for watching and supporting me. It means the world to all my friends and family that have been sharing my channel and sharing my videos. It is greatly appreciated, and I love you all very much for it. If you liked this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you're going to read this month. Again, thank you for watching. Until next time.